What if I told you that a recession may have already started, but almost nobody is calling it a recession? The stock market isn't crashing, banks aren't collapsing, the unemployment rate doesn't look catastrophic. And yet, millions of people feel poorer than they did just a few years ago. They work just as hard, they earn more money on paper, but somehow, every month feels tighter. The grocery bill is higher, insurance costs are exploding, housing feels impossible, retirement savings aren't growing fast enough, and every unexpected expense feels like a punch to the stomach. If the economy is supposedly doing well, why do so many people feel like they're falling behind? Because the most dangerous recessions don't always announce themselves with panic. Sometimes they arrive quietly. No headlines, no emergency press conferences, no dramatic market crash. Just a slow, invisible squeeze that gradually destroys purchasing power, savings, and financial confidence. And according to many economists, that's exactly what may be happening right now. This is the silent recession nobody is talking about. When most people hear the word recession, they imagine something dramatic. Factories shutting down, mass layoffs, stock markets collapsing, businesses going bankrupt. That's what happened during the financial crisis of 2008. The pain was obvious. Everyone could see it. But today's economic reality looks different. Instead of one sudden collapse, people are experiencing thousands of smaller financial cuts. Each one seems manageable until they start adding up. A few dollars more for groceries, a higher utility bill, more expensive healthcare, higher insurance premiums, rising property taxes, increasing interest rates on debt. Individually, none of these things seem catastrophic. Together, they create something powerful, a steady decline in financial freedom. People aren't necessarily losing their jobs.
And that's a very different kind of recession. One reason this silent recession is difficult to recognize is because many workers are actually earning more money than before. Their paychecks have increased. Their salaries have risen. On paper, everything appears fine. But income means very little if expenses grow even faster. Imagine receiving a 5% raise. Sounds good. Until you realize your housing costs increased by 8%. Insurance increased by 12%. Groceries increased by 20%. And borrowing money became dramatically more expensive. Suddenly, that raise isn't making you richer. It's merely helping you lose ground more slowly. This is why so many middle-class families feel trapped. They're earning more than ever, yet they feel less secure than ever. The numbers in their bank account may be bigger, but the purchasing power behind those numbers has quietly shrunk. And that's one of the most deceptive economic forces in modern history. For Americans between 40 and 45 years old, this problem becomes even more serious because time starts to matter. Retirement no longer feels like a distant future. It starts becoming real. Many people expected that by this stage of life, they would feel financially stable. Instead, they're facing a different reality. Higher living costs, aging parents who may need support, children approaching college age, growing healthcare expenses, and uncertainty about whether their retirement savings will actually be enough. The silent recession isn't just reducing today's quality of life, it's stealing future security. Every dollar spent on inflated expenses is a dollar that cannot be invested. Every year of delayed savings creates additional pressure later. And unlike younger generations, people in their 40s have less time to recover from major financial mistakes. That's why this economic environment...
Families experience the economy differently. They don't live inside spreadsheets.
They live inside budgets. A family doesn't care if GDP increased by 2%. They care whether they can afford groceries, insurance, housing, and retirement. That's the disconnect. The economy can appear healthy from a distance, while millions struggle underneath the surface. It's like looking at a beautiful house from the street. Everything appears perfect until you step inside and discover the foundation is slowly cracking. The problem isn't always visible, but it's still real. Historically, financial stress doesn't begin with dramatic collapse. It begins with behavior changes. People postpone vacations, delay major purchases, carry debt longer, reduce retirement contributions, avoid home repairs, use savings for everyday expenses. At first, these seem like small adjustments. But when millions of households start doing the same thing, it signals something larger. Confidence begins to disappear. And confidence is one of the most important fuels of any economy. When people stop feeling secure, they stop planning for the future. And that's often when deeper economic problems begin to emerge. The silent recession isn't defined by crashing markets. It's defined by a growing gap between what people earn and what life costs. And for millions of families, that gap is getting wider every year. The question isn't whether the economy looks healthy on paper. The question is much simpler. Do you feel more financially secure today than you did 5 years ago? Because your answer may reveal more about the economy than any headline ever could. If you found this video valuable, subscribe for more